Well, it's that time of the year again. It's time to count down the best and worst hit songs of each year. And of course, we're starting off with the worst list. The 2023 Billboard Year-End Hot 100 list in particular stands out for one unusual reason, as Billboard decided to end the 2023 year early. When I first heard they did this, I was pretty surprised. I mean, first of all, it's bad enough that the Billboard Year-End list excludes this year's December and includes last year's December, but ending the year in the middle of October, which means that 2.5 months in 2023 aren't even included on this list, is beyond baffling. I have no idea why Billboard decided to do this. I was hoping they would backtrack on this decision, but no, they went through with it anyway. I know Billboard's reputation over the past few years has been declining for various reasons, but this is something that's only going to make people's perception of them even worse than it already is. And this makes me wonder, how is this going to affect the year-end list from here on out? Is the 2024 year list going to stop in mid-October too? Or will it actually go to the end of November like it's supposed to, and this is just a change for 1 year? I guess we'll have to wait a year to find out. And, well, it seems this boneheaded change is making some critics redecide how they'll decide which songs are eligible for the best/worst hit songs list, and I can't exactly blame them. Even prior to this change, the Billboard Year-End Hot 100 list wasn't perfect since, again, it always excluded this year's December and included last year's December, which means that the list skews early in the year and includes several songs that were really more last year's songs and really shouldn't be on this year's list. Despite this though, I am sticking to the same rules I've always had for my best and worst hit songs videos. The song must have debuted on this year's Billboard Hot 100 year-end list. This means that the 12 songs that made the 2022 year-end list and the one song that made the 2011 year-end list are not eligible. So if you want to hear me rant about Unholy by Sam Smith and Kim Petras, go watch my worst hit songs of 2022 video. Speaking of which, I will be referencing songs I put on my previous best and worst hit songs list, so if you haven't seen my list in the past 3 years, I'd recommend you watch them first to avoid spoilers. Finally, just a reminder as always that this list is just my opinion. Don't get mad at me in the comments for putting a song you like on this list. Let me know in the comments what your least favorite hit songs of 2023 are. Okay, without further ado, let's get this list started, kicking it off with number 10.
Come and rescue me. Take me out the club, take me out the trap.
I've made it no secret that I'm not a fan of most modern rap music. Rap is by far the most represented genre in all of my worst hit songs list, and spoiler alert, it's no different for this list too. Most of it is just uninteresting with the same generic trap beat, boring and lifeless production, and uninspiring lyrics. Case in point, Search and Rescue. Now to be fair, this is far from the worst song Drake's ever put out. I'll certainly take this over Way Too Sexy any day, which I put number 1 on my worst hit songs of 2021 list for a reason. It doesn't grate on my nerves or cause a visceral reaction with me like that song did, but that's honestly because the song is just too boring for me to even get mad at. Heck, the song's composition with a piano melody and trap beat sounds like something you play in the car while driving late at night. It's almost like the song was designed to be the kind of song you'd fall asleep to. And lyrically, the song isn't much better. It's about how Drake wants someone to be with to make money with him. They don't even need to be as famous as him. I'll give it this, the song doesn't delve into Drake bragging about his fame and wealth. In fact, it seems that he wants this person to rescue him and take him off the club, the map, the market, etc. Drake, I think it's a little too late for that. You can't become unfamous, and no one can take you away from your position unless you get canceled by the public. Is that what you want? Maybe the song was trying to be more meaningful, hence why its production is so laid back, putting more emphasis on the lyrics, but I really don't buy that Drake wants to stop being famous or get out of his lifestyle. He put himself in this position, and only he, and maybe his label executives, can get him out. Also, if you are trying to push the message of not wanting to be famous and escape from this lifestyle, simply the Kardashians on your song kind of shoots you in the foot. It kind of conceptually ruins your song about wanting to be rescued from the famous and wealthy lifestyle when you include dialogue from one of the most famous and wealthiest families in the world on it. And no amount of whirlwind pitch shifted vocals or auto-tune slapped on Drake's voice can make the song worth caring about. It's only number 10 on this list because it's really more boring than actively grating, but that's really not saying much. I'd skip it.
I don't wanna feel how I did last night. I don't wanna feel.
Really? Did this have to be the Ray song to be your North American crossover song? For those who don't know, Ray is a British singer who's already had a few hits in her home country over the past few years, most notably her collaborations with EDM artists. I actually liked her feature on Jax Jones' You Don't Know Me. Damn, this is why that song didn't cross over to America. And a handful of the other songs I've heard from her, with or without EDM producers, are alright. They're decent dance pop or electronic songs. Escapism, however, goes in a completely different direction, and one that was the worst possible move. The song decides to go for more of a hip-hop sound, which already knocks points with me, but it just doesn't help the song just doesn't sound exciting or fun to listen to. It's got the same problem that Beyonce's 7-Eleven has, where it's upbeat, but it's just not fun or catchy. Also, the chorus, which is usually supposed to be the most memorable part of the song, and the part you sing along to the most, is where the instruments slow down and the song is more stripped back, which pretty much breaks the song's flow and basic pop song structure. I get that's a song about trying to escape the pain of a heartbreak and not want to feel how you did with a man who broke your heart last night, but maybe having the rest of the song not match that just kind of clashes with it. And even then, the production just doesn't try hard enough to make it sound enjoyable in any way. Actually, it did try hard in one area, in including the most ear-grating sound possible. For some reason, whoever produced the song decided to include this awful sound that sounds like a cross between a dentist drill and an out-of-tune violin. It's actually the very first sound you hear in the song before Ray comes in with her faux rapping, and you'll hear it throughout the background of the song. At least until the last quarter, where the song takes a turn where her voice slows down, and the song sounds completely different than how it did, which I think is meant to symbolize Ray's going through a drug trip. I'll admit, that bit does sound better than the rest of the song, with the more atmospheric sound and the more echoey, reverb-drenched vocals. Plus, Ray does have a decent flow throughout the song. Those two things definitely keep the song from being higher on the list, but not enough to save it completely.
Say she got a problem, imaginary smoke. Bitches set it up, then put it on the floor.
Okay, hot take, I didn't mind Big Energy. I mean, I didn't think the song was great or anything, but it did have a decent sounding backing melody, even if it was sampled from Mariah Carey's Fantasy, which in turn sampled Tom Tom Club's Genius of Love. It gave me the same vibe as many of Doja Cat's best songs, leaning more to the melodic side and giving it more of an R&B/electropop sound, which I definitely prefer more than all the minor key, listless trap beatback hip-hop that's been filling up the charts lately. So of course, Lotto decided not to go back to what made Big Energy decent and give us an uninteresting generic trap song. What you see is what you get here. Lotto rapping about being rich, being at the club, and both she and Cardi B rapping about all their expensive luxury items and getting laid. In other words, it's just like nearly every other trap song that comes out these days. Give Big Energy this. At least it had Lotto inviting a guy to have sex with her, and it wasn't just bragging all the way through. And again, the sample actually made it sound more melodic and major key. Why do so many trap songs seem to like all this dour minor key instrumentation? We've already got 2 rap songs like this on this list, and spoiler alert, those won't be the only ones. Heck, I'd even take Lotto's other song to make the 2023 year-end list, 7 by Jungkook, over this. At least that song's music sounded more interesting despite the questionable lyrics about having sex with someone every minute of every day of every week. Oh, and I'd be remiss not to mention this, but this song is actually a remix. The original song is simply called Put It On The Floor and didn't feature Cardi B. I know this isn't the first time another artist hopped on a remix of another artist song to give it a boost, but I don't really see any reason for this remix to exist. Cardi B doesn't say anything interesting or really play off Lotto that well, and musically, it's identical to the original. In nearly every way, it's the exact same song. It's like you had to get another rapper to help you make your song more interesting, except the other rapper doesn't have anything interesting to say either. The best thing I can say about the song is that it's not the worst rap song that came out this year, only because there were plenty of other bad rap songs this year. Speaking of which, let's get to another one.
Yeah, is you fucking crazy? Is you fucking crazy? Is you fucking crazy?
Take everything I said about Search and Rescue, except make it sound more ominous with some strings that don't sound as symphonic as they really should, and strip away any meaningful lyrics that Search and Rescue had, and you basically have Meltdown. Again, why do so many modern rap songs sound so dour and minor key? It doesn't make the song fun to listen to in any way. And sure, you could argue maybe it fits the song conceptually. With Search and Rescue, you could argue its minor key sound fit with it being more stripped back and Drake being more real, as debatable as that is. And here, Drake's making a diss track. I'll say this, he at least sounds more enthused here. He's actually trying to have more of a flow and sounds more aggressive here, which does fit a diss track. But honestly, I'd argue that comes at the song's detriment. I'd rather listen to something boring and uninteresting than something that sounds worse, even if it was a point conceptually. I'll say the song gets a little better when Travis Scott comes in. I've always been a little kinder on him compared to other rappers because his ad-libs and spaced out sound usually makes many of his songs a little more melodic and interesting to listen to. Seriously, why wasn't this a song simply by him? Drake's only here on the first third of the song. Plus, this is supposed to be a Travis Scott song, not Drake's song. Why have Drake's voice on the song first? Cut out all of Drake's parts, only include the part starting from the second beat switch on, and the song will be much better. Maybe just a dishonorable mention on this list at worst. Speaking of which, the beat switches just make the song feel unfocused, and like it's 3 different songs stitched together, just like a certain other Travis Scott/Drake collaboration. And at least Sicko Mode was trying to sound super unorthodox and trippy, so the beat switches kind of made sense. What reason is there for the beat switches here? And again, just like that song, it's another song where Drake ends up overshadowing Travis on his own song by being the first artist you hear on it. And the last beat switch on the song just has more generic trap beats and droning, boring production. Also, seriously, how many times can you repeat the phrase, "Is you effing crazy"? Don't you have anything interesting to say, Travis Scott? Why am I even asking that? Of course you don't. Next. I got a feeling this is going to be a controversial pick. Man, we sure had quite a few songs as of late that became hits this year despite being released years ago that only recently got a resurgence in popularity. Beyond all the Christmas songs that look like they're going to be making the year-end list every year now, we also have Sure Thing, which actually made the 2011 year-end list, a certain song that I'll be talking about in my bestest songs of 2023 video, and Running Up That Hill, A Deal With God, which made last year's year-end list. And we also got this particular song, the 6th single from Lady Gaga's 2011 album Born This Way, that finally got released as a single 11.5 years later after going viral on TikTok, and man, I can see why this wasn't originally released as a single. Lady Gaga is known for being one of the biggest hit makers during the club boom of the late 2000s to early 2010s, and she's released tons of catchy, upbeat singles throughout her career. Just Dance, Poker Face, Paparazzi, Bad Romance, Telephone, Born This Way, The Age of Glory, Applause, Stupid Love, Rain on Me. And then we have this song that doesn't fit at all with any of those I just mentioned. The song decides to go for a mid-tempo song that just sticks out like a sore thumb compared to all of her upbeat dance pop hits. And sure, Lady Gaga has definitely released a few slow songs throughout her career like Million Reasons or Shallow with Bradley Cooper, but Bloody Mary doesn't even fit with those either. It's at this weird midpoint of being too slow to dance to, but at the same time, too peppy to be a chill, laid-back song, and it just doesn't flatter either group. And then we get the song's production, and okay, I guess the song was trying to sound more orchestral and gospel sounding with the strings at the beginning of the song, but just clashes with the electronic beats and vocal processing. In terms of combining orchestral sounds with electronic elements, it's no way JR. In addition to the song just not sounding fun to listen to, it sounds totally off-putting with all the vocal processed Gregorian chants, and that annoying blood-curdling scream after the chorus, which sounds like something you'd hear from a screamo metal song, and guaranteed is a spot on this list. I guess they were trying to make the production match the religious iconography in the song's lyrics, hence why they decided to add in what sounds like someone being possessed by a devil, but it just doesn't sound good. It reminds me of a certain other gospel-inspired song that made my worst hit songs list last year, in that all the elements just ended up clashing, and resulted in this 5-card pileup of a song. Lady Gaga, you're better than this. I think I need an exorcism after hearing this song.
I got hoes, might just be on me, in different area codes. He know what's up.
Just a heads up, the next 4 picks on this list are all rap songs. Might be worth skipping straight to the dishonorable mentions if you don't want to hear me just dunk on rap. Of all the songs I'm putting on this list, this one is easily the most underwhelming. Seriously, are these rap songs trying to compete for the title of most uninteresting production? Well, this song would definitely win that award. Literally throughout this entire song, all you'll hear is a drum beat, finger snapping, and a weird sound in the chorus that sounds like tires screeching. That's it. Nothing else in the song's production. In fact, I think this is the only song for the 2023 year-end list to have no melody whatsoever. Given that the only instruments on the song are percussion, and the lyrics are entirely rapped, this song completely lacks any tune whatsoever. The song is trying to go for a very minimalist rap sound, and you know, that can work if you've got a good enough flow and have interesting lyrics, but given that this song is number 5 on my worst hit songs of 2023 list, it's safe to say that I don't think Callie succeeds. Credit where it's due, Callie isn't a bad rapper. She has a pretty decent flow, and her breathy delivery does fit with the sexual lyrics, hence why it's not higher on this list. But as decent as her rapping might be, it doesn't save such a dull song. There's no reason why the production should even be this minimalist. It's a song about having sex with guys in various places around the world, interpolating the chorus of the Ludacris and Nate Dogg song of the same name from 2001. But seriously, could you make the production sound more fitting? Have the music sound like a default ringtone, or maybe add a phone ring or busy signal sound in it. You know, give it sounds reminiscent of a phone to match the lyrics. Not only would it fit better conceptually, but it would also make me less likely to fall asleep while listening to it. I mean, I probably still wouldn't like it, but it would at least make the song feel less lazy from a production standpoint. Or heck, since you're interpolating the Ludacris song, why not sample the R&B synth from that song? It would have sounded way better. Also, the song doesn't really know how to end. The last 30 seconds of the song are just a drum beat and finger snapping. It feels like that was just added to pad the song out, which is weird to say for a song that's only 2 minutes and 19 seconds long, but hey, I wouldn't mind the song being under 2 minutes. That way the song could be over faster.
Like keep it a stack. Bitches move out cause they know I got bands. They be chatting, I don't give a damn, and I'm still getting money, I know who I am.
Forgive me if I sound like a broken record talking about these rap songs. It's really becoming a struggle for me to make my discussions about the number 10 to 2 picks on this list all roughly the same length, when some of these songs are all just so generic, and there's not much new I can say about them. I can't really say much new about this particular song either. A generic trap beat that isn't fun to listen to, lyrics about bragging that you have more money than anyone else, and that everyone wants to be with you. It just sounds like hundreds of other trap songs that have come out over the past 5 years. I guess there are a couple lyrics that are memorable just for being weird, like think about me when he brushing his teeth, or I be eating my spinach. Also, I guess you could see the lines, they burn they London bridges, none of them be words British, is clever since Princess Diana was British, but newsflash Nikki, you're not British either, so this flex doesn't even make any sense. Oh, and let's not forget my favorite line of the song, B words is ass if we keep it a crack. Thank you for putting that lovely image in my mind. hey, I guess I do have something new to say about this song, but that's not exactly a good thing. If a song is memorable for making me cringe, that's definitely not a positive. Also, like a few other rap songs that have made my worst hit songs list, I have no clue why there are even two rappers here. If this song had been by just Ice Spice or just Nicki Minaj, this song really wouldn't be much different. When you say, when we come out, it looked like Princess Diana on the street, it kinda makes no sense when you realize there was only one Princess Diana. Just have one of you on this song and have the lyric be, when I come out, it looked like Princess Diana on the street. I mean, it probably wouldn't redeem anything else about the song, but it would at least make more sense. So yeah, musically uninteresting, cringe-worthy such nonsensical lyrics, two rappers on the same song when there could have only been one, sounds just like many other rap songs I've talked about in my worst hit songs videos. And those exact same criticisms just as easily apply to the next song on this list. I mean, with a title like Peaches and Eggplants, did you really think the song was gonna be good? You pretty much know what you're gonna get here. Another rap song with listless, uninteresting production with lyrics about sex. And of course, being a dirty rap song, we get lovely lyrics like, eat that P word up, bon appetit, or B word, turn around, come suck the meat, or S word was peachy just like the fruit, or I just beat the P word loose. Okay, that latter lyric just sounds violent. I hope you didn't actually beat your partner during sex, because that's one of the lowest things any human could do. Look, if you're gonna make a rap song about sex, try to actually make it sound enticing. These lyrics would make sex sound disgusting, which is the last thing you want for a song about the subject. And how about making the production sound more appealing? Do they spare since by a generic trap beat inspire anyone to have sex? Why not make it sound more akin to music you hear at a strip club? You know, actually have the music fit the lyrics. As gross of a song as it is lyrically, at least My Neck, My Back, Lick by Kia Man should do that. Also, what's that mouse sound Young Nutty keeps making throughout the song? I guess it's supposed to be his trademark ad-lib or mouse sound like you hear from Migos or Travis Scott, but it just sounds like he's gasping for air or blowing on something, and oh gosh, I think I know what that sound's supposed to simulate. Not touching that. Also, that sound is just way too repetitive, especially in the outro, where nearly the entire last minute is just repeating that sound over and over. At least Migos and Travis Scott switch up their mouse sounds and ad-libs after each line. Given that you take cues from their books, why don't you take that cue? You hear that same sound throughout the entire song, and it gets annoying pretty quickly. Oh, also 21 Savage is on the song. Apparently him and Young Nutty are cousins, and I guess 21 wanted to help his cousin finally have a hit like him. Well, it worked, but it doesn't make my point that there only needing to be one rapper any less valid. They're both pretty interchangeable. Suffice to say, this song sucks. The only good song about Peaches that came out this year is the one that Bowser sung. Yes, I like that song. Sure, it's cheesy melodramatic, but it's intentionally so, and it's enjoyable in an ironic sense. Plus, it sounds miles better than this turd of a song. Blah.
Can't say your name up in my songs, might not fuck with you tomorrow. Can get my feelings hurt today, I won't give a fuck tomorrow.
And here we are, the penultimate song on my worst hits of 2023 list, and easily the worst rap song to be a hit this year, and man, I'm really running out of new things to say about these songs. You can probably already predict what my criticisms of the song are. Two rappers on here when there really only need to be one? Check. A remix that didn't really need to exist? Check. Dull, minor key, uninspired trap production? Check. Self-centered lyrics about being rich and bragging that you're better than everyone? Check. A few really disgusting lyrics like long ass weave, if you tickle my ass crack? Big check. It's kind of ironic how I feel that all these rap songs are so samey and generic. My criticisms of them are probably coming off as samey and generic. For some reason though, this song makes my skin crawl more than any of the other rap songs before it. I can't quite put my finger on it, but something about this song's production just really rubs me the wrong way. It just makes me feel uncomfortable listening to it, more so than any other rap song before this one. And the fact this is a remix means the song is longer than it was originally, and in fact, this song is almost double the length of the original song. The original Tomorrow was only 1 minute 53 seconds long, just under 2 minutes. This remix is 3 minutes 29 seconds long, about 3.5 minutes. Did we really need to give this turd of a song over 1.5 minutes extra length? And for what? Another verse that Glorilla could have just as easily rapped? Well, besides that one line where Cardi B references her own song Up, which only really makes sense coming from her, it still doesn't make the song any less tolerable, and it's easily the song on this list that I find the least enjoyable. However, it's only number 2 on this list. I'll be honest, this song probably would have been the worst hit song of 2023 under most circumstances, but I did feel like another song deserved that title more. Before we get to that though, let's knock out a few honorable, or in this case, dishonorable mentions.
21, can you do something for me? 21. Can you hit a little rich flex for me?
This song actually almost made the list, but it was just beat out. So yeah, this is my number 11 for the list. A song that samples like 5 other songs with boring listless production, despite having 3 beat switches, and feeling like 3 separate songs stitched together. Drake and 21 Savage showing zero enthusiasm in their voices, and lyrics about... well, the song's called Rich Flex. What do you think the song's about? That second beat switch sounds a bit better than the other 2, as is the one with the most melody on it, but if it wasn't for that, this would have definitely been on the actual list.
Y'all gonna wanna, they working my nerves. I'm about to pour some syrup. Fucking this bitch like a perm. Smack from the back of a perm.
Yet another rap song about doing drugs and having sex. I'll say this, it's the most musically interesting of any of the rap songs I'm talking about in this video. I can't exactly say it's great from a music standpoint, but at least it's not as dour or boring as any of the rap songs that actually made the list proper. Heck, that piano line, the background vocalist going, yeah, throughout the song is actually kind of borderline catchy. And that really stayed from landing on the list. I'd much rather listen to this song than any of the ones that actually made the list just for its production. Plus, it's only just over 2 minutes long, being the second shortest hit song of the year after Nicki Minaj, Ice Spice, and Aqua's Barbie World, so it doesn't waste too much of my time. Yeah, having a remix of a song come out with another artist on it isn't just a thing in rap. It can happen in any genre, reggaeton included. It actually reminds me of something you hear from an artist like Jeremiah or Bryson Tiller, going for sort of an R&B/electropop club sound. It's a bit dull, but I do see the appeal of the sound. It's clearly trying to sound slinky and sexy for a song about having sex at the club. If it wasn't for just kind of droning on, not really sounding enticing for a sex song, and also a few lines like, that P word, I eat it whenever I want, I wouldn't even be talking about this song in this video. Though I do still have to consider it the worst Spanish language song to make the 2023 year-end list. And here's the second worst Spanish language song to make the 2023 year-end list, and man, what is with all the dour minor key songs that made the 2023 year-end list? Between that, the trap beat, and the low pitch to vocals, and this song music fits perfectly with all the rap songs I've already talked about. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm talking about in this video, because honestly, I actually have no issues about anything else about the song. Karol G and Shakira are both pretty good singers, even if, again, we have the why are the two artists on this song issue, and the lyrics about telling an ex-partner that you're not letting them get back into your life, and that you're better off without them now, doesn't come off as too arrogant or condescending. I just wish it had some more pleasant production.
Your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich man knows the rich man.
Well, here's a song that a lot of people this year were talking about, both positively and negatively. It was definitely interesting to see all the discourse about this song, the fact that this virtually unknown artist had a song go #1 out of the blue, as well as Oliver Anthony coming out with a video claiming he doesn't side with people on either side of the political spectrum and shaming them both. Now, I get what the song is trying to say. People in government are often corrupt and only want to benefit themselves and pit us against each other. However, there are still some lyrics that rub me the wrong way, whether it's the miners on an island line, not touching that, or the obese milk and welfare line. Not to mention that I'm not really a fan of Oliver Anthony's gruff howling voice. He's definitely passionate, but as far as rustic singer-songwriters go, he's no hosier. But hey, at least the song is better than the other controversial political country song that hit #1 this year. Speaking of which, let's get to the #1 worst hit song of 2023 and... okay, I think you already know what it is.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road.
Yeah, no surprises here. I imagine the song is going to be topping nearly everyone's worst hit songs of 2023 list. For me, I'm a little surprised I'm placing the song #1. Of all the songs on this list, it's probably the best sounding. Musically, I don't really have any qualms with this song. Sure, the guitars are a bit sludgy, but melodically, it's not really that bad. I'd much rather listen to this song's music than the blood-curdling scream from Bloody Mary, or the ear-grating noise from Escapism, or the mouse sounds on Peaches and Eggplants. Usually to actually make my worst hit songs list, it has to be bad from a musical or production standpoint. I've said it before, but sometimes a catchy or even decent melody can forgive subpar songwriting. If it wasn't for the lyrical content of this song, this wouldn't even be close to being on my list for the worst hit songs of 2023. However, sometimes if the lyrical content is really, really bad, the musical part of the song can't forgive it. Let's be clear, this song's only true purpose is to pander to people whose playlists is full of nothing but Tom MacDonald, Kid Rock, or any other music that echoes their reactionary political views. I'll say this at least, this song is better than anything Kid Rock puts in 2020 since again, it at least sounds better from a musical standpoint, but these lyrics just completely sink it. Let's strip away the political aspect of this song, or the controversy surrounding Idrit's music video. Let's ignore the fact that Jason Aldean isn't even from a small town, and the disingenuousness of him trying to sing from the perspective of someone from a small town. Let's just look at the song's lyrics on their own. They just come off as arrogant and condescending, in the worst possible way. Let's start off with the title lyric. Try that in a small town, and see how far you make it down the road. Okay, first of all, nice going there talking down to your audience. If you tell someone to try something bad or wrong and see what happens, you clearly don't respect them or you think they're an idiot. Try sticking a fork in a toaster and see what happens. Try poking a stick at a bear and see what happens. Try drinking bleach and see what happens. No matter what context it's used in, there's just so much contempt with this saying. It almost sounds like you want them to actually do it. I mean, sure, he does say, I recommend you don't later in the chorus, but it's not enough. It still feels like he wants someone to do one of these things in a small town just to see them suffer repercussions, or like he's telling them this to try and get a rise out of them. And what's even the implication here? So what, if I do one of these things in a small town, something bad's gonna happen to me? A bunch of small town hicks are gonna come beat me up or kick me out of town? What makes it even worse is the bridge with the lines, full of good old boys raised up right, if you're looking for a fight. I mean, raised up right is true in more than one sense of the word right, but for a song that already has unfortunate implications in it, why did you have to include the line, if you're looking for a fight? It actually does sound like I'm gonna be the victim of violence if I do something deemed unacceptable in a small town. Also, all these things that Jason Aldean gives examples of in regards to things that might fly in the city but not in a small town are things that most people, urban or not, are not in favor of. Beating up cops, burning the American flag, robbing a liquor store. I can tell you very confidently that plenty of people who live in big cities are not in favor of any of those things, and don't condone any of that. This song just completely mischaracterizes the city lifestyle and feels like it's running on a straw man argument in order to make the small town lifestyle look more desirable. It paints a completely false picture of the city, making it seem like there's tons of crime over there, whereas out here in a small town, we don't have any of that. There's a blatant sense of superiority with the song, believing that rural lifestyles are better than urban lifestyles. Also, it's pretty hypocritical you to accuse city people of being violent like this, when you imply that small town people get violent with them if they do one of these things. For a song clearly trying to paint the rural lifestyle superior and taking the moral high ground, maybe don't accuse the urban lifestyle of violence when you imply that the former is willing to resort to violence too. Even if city people are doing violent stuff, don't get violent yourself. Not only are you fighting fire with fire, but you're shooting your whole argument in the foot. What really cemented the song at number 1 for me was just that arrogance and borderline threat of violence, and the fact that I know some people will be touting this as an anthem for the small town folk and only perpetuate this arrogance rhetoric and strawmanning city people further. Again, without these lyrics, it would be nowhere near this list, and Tomorrow 2 would have run away with the number 1 spot on this list. And I'll say that I enjoyed listening to that song less than this one. And while that would normally make the former song worse, I feel like I need to make an exception in this particular instance. Worst hit song of 2023 to the surprise of no one. Comparing it to the songs that top my worst hit songs list the last 3 years, its production may not make my skin crawl like Super Gremlin or Way Too Sexy did, which may make it slightly better than either of them, but it's definitely worse than Yummy. If you listen to this song, it won't take long for you to find out how bad it is. I recommend you don't. And that's the worst hit songs of 2023, everyone. Thanks for watching. Best of songs video will be out very soon. See you then.